Hey guys, it's Pelli. I hope you're having a great day today. Welcome to Fashion Essentials, a series discussing important designers, icons, and history in fashion. In this video, we will explore Chanel by Karl Lagerfeld. Let's begin. These days, many people associate the famous French fashion house Chanel with luxury. From their highly recognizable interlocking C logo to their Chanel No. 5 perfume, it's impossible to not have heard about this legendary brand. With boutiques and influences all over the world, many would have never guessed that there was a time when Chanel was considered a quote, near-dead brand on the verge of being forgotten. That was the fate of the brand until Karl Lagerfeld took over. He not only reinvented Chanel into what we know it as today, but influenced the fashion industry in the process. Karl Lagerfeld was born September 10, 1933 in Hamburg, Germany. As a child, Lagerfeld had a natural talent for drawing. Some of his favorite childhood pastimes were designing and sketching costumes from different time periods. At age 16, he entered a design competition and won the award for Best Coat Sketch, landing him a job working with designer Pierre Balmain. 3 years later, Lagerfeld moved to Jean Patou. His very first collection for the fashion house was ripped apart by reporters. The French fashion world during this time was ruled by the likes of Chanel and Christian Dior, who designed high fashion exclusively for the upper echelon. Lagerfeld stated that the haute couture and standard during this time bored him to death. He ended up deciding to become a freelance designer as the idea of ready-to-wear was popularized in the 1960s. As a freelance designer, he worked with brands such as Valentino, Chloe, and Fendi, where he garnered immense success and praise. While Lagerfeld was establishing himself as a reputable figure in fashion, Chanel, the once prosperous fashion house, saw a decline in the profits and relevancy. In the 1970s, after Coco Chanel's death, the controlling interest of her company was brought by French businessman Jacques Wethermere, the son of Pierre Wethermere, who was an early business partner of Coco Chanel. Under Wethermere ownership, Chanel was seen as unexciting and repetitive. A shift only occurred in the late 1970s when Alain Wethermere, the son of Jacques Wethermere, took control of the brand and hired Lagerfeld. Lagerfeld took over as the creative director despite disencouragement from Fashion Insider. He studied the past of Chanel the brand and Coco Chanel herself, looking for inspiration for his designs. In 1983, Lagerfeld presented his first Chanel collection, where he brought the fashion house back to relevancy by modernizing the brand's classic trait while remaining true to the brand's identity. In the beginning, he kept the conservative aspect of the brand, taking inspiration from the 20s and 30s, and while those early collections were all well received for his modern rendition, it was also criticized for being too safe, so Lagerfeld started to explore what the fashion label could become. He broke several of Chanel's rules and started to experiment, saying, even if she never did it this way, it's very Chanel, no? Lagerfeld elevated the brand and made it exciting. He also handpicked 80s supermodel Inès de la Versange to be the brand exclusive house model. La Versange ended up becoming a big part of Lagerfeld's early Chanel by bringing his collection to life on the runway and defining who the Chanel woman was. Lagerfeld ended up winning a prestigious French fashion award for the best collection of the year in 1987. By the end of the 80s, as Lagerfeld began to reinvent the French fashion house, it saw significant success with more boutiques opening worldwide, a release of the first Chanel watch, and a new fragrance named Coco, paying tribute to the founder. The 90s turned out to be the peak of Lagerfeld reinvention. He experimented with several Chanel classic traits, such as the tweed fabric and classic chains. The supermodel were Lagerfeld muses during the new decade, and they helped embody the new Chanel. He transitioned away from the conservative aspect of the brand and took inspiration from various styles from pop culture. The new Chanel was edgier, trendier, and full of surprises. Let's discuss his reinvention, beginning with the iconic interlocking double C logo. The logo was originally used by Coco Chanel herself in the 1920s, but only became a symbol of wealth and status after Lagerfeld decorated his design with it. He monogrammed belts, hats, dresses, bags, jewelry, etc. to the point that it became a style symbol recognized all over the world. In 1994, Chanel was the most profitable French fashion house, and the interlocking C logo has come to represent style and luxury. The Chanel 255 bag was named after the date of its creation, in February 1955, and it changed handbag history. During this time, women commonly carried bags in their hands, but the Chanel 255 bag could be carried on their shoulder. Lagerfeld took the iconic bag and transformed it. He introduced various styles and colors, incorporated tweed, and made diamond quilting synonymous with the brand's bag. Today, the Chanel bag in general, even with various updates, are seen as classic pieces. It remains trendy in fashion. Before Chanel introduced the little black dress as a fashionable piece, women commonly wore it while mourning or for other formal occasions. After a sketch of the little black dress was published by Vogue magazine in 1926, the piece became very popular for any fashionable moment. Lagerfeld saw the evolution of the dress and rejuvenated it. Hated how restricted women's clothing were, Chanel created her now legendary suit with the goal of comfort. It was the first suit of its kind to be made specifically for women and provided freedom of movement, comfortability, and luxury all at the same time. At the beginning, Lagerfeld understood the mature appeal of the suit and made slight changes, before ultimately revamping it for the 90s. He started by shortening the skirt, expanded the color range, cropping the jacket around his shoulders, then later introduced the minis along with various styles and texture. His reinvention appealed to a newer generation, and because of him, the Chanel suit has become a piece that is still successfully evolving with the fashion world. The Chanel jacket alone became a versatile piece that fit for any fashionable occasion. There were some things that Lagerfeld simply didn't have to reinvent though. The two-tone Chanel pump is still one of the most coveted pair of shoes with its original design. The pearls are still strongly tied to the brand, and the Chanel No. 5 fragrance remained a classic. Lagerfeld kept the Chanel legacy alive, introducing the iconic pieces to one generation after another. The 2000s was nothing like the late 80s or early 90s modern glamour. With the rise of fast fashion and the excitement for new millennium fashion trends, Karl Lagerfeld had to evolve the fashion label once again. He demonstrated his talent for adaptability all throughout his 2000 collection for Chanel. He introduced the French fashion house to a new generation by incorporating influence from early 2000 grunge, pop, and youth culture. Chanel saw considerable commercial success by capturing the it girl of the moment and featured her in their campaigns. The Chanel it girl was younger but still sophisticated. Lagerfeld infused the maturity of the brand with the casual chic fashion from the it girls. These Chanel it girls helped embody who the 2000 Chanel women were, keeping the fashion house relevant and trendy. The Chanel boots were a huge part of the 2000 for the brand. One of Coco Chanel's favorite footwear, Lagerfeld made a part of Chanel back in the 90s. In the 2000s, the brand introduced several pairs and versions of thigh-high boots that was famously worn in the Devil Wear Prada film. The boots were ultra-feminine and were associated with high fashion. For most of the ready-to-wear collection, it was really all about casual luxury fashion for Chanel. Light layering and heavy jewelry ruled the runway. Lagerfeld shifted the fashion label into the direction it needed to go, and even though it wasn't as innovative or even memorable like the 90s, Chanel continued to garner success and remain one of the top luxury brands. Lagerfeld gave Chanel a reset in the 2010s by reintroducing Coco Chanel to the world. He wrote and directed several short films about her and paid a tribute to the legendary founder of the brand. He went back to her roots and the beginning of the fashion label while embracing the evolution it went through over the decades. He elevated the brand's identity compared to the 2000s and polished it up for a newer generation once again. The Chanel woman for this decade was the cool girl, perfectly embodied by Cara Delevingne. She has a bold take on fashion by infusing haute couture with more casual looks. The cool Chanel girl respects Mademoiselle Chanel high-class fashion, but has a Lagerfeld open-minded attitude. Actresses and other Hollywood elites also help embody the brand for this decade. Chanel became known for the theatrical fashion show by transforming the fashion runway into cinematic wonderland with full-blown production. Lagerfeld was one of the first designers to present elaborate runway shows, and because of his imagination, others followed. The Chanel fashion show has incorporated everything from huge iceberg, carousel, and space rockets. The Grand Palais in Paris has become home for the Chanel events. Throughout the 2010s, Lagerfeld presented many show-stopping collections, and his shows were always one of the most anticipated. Lagerfeld became known for his innovation and will be regarded as the master of reinvention. Chanel by Karl Lagerfeld was influential. He not only protected the artistry of haute couture, but kept it evolving. He saved Chanel and gave the French fashion house a new life. Today, Chanel is one of the most recognizable and desirable fashion brands, and is still synonymous with high fashion, all thanks to Karl Lagerfeld. On February 19, 2019, Lagerfeld passed away from complications of pancreatic cancer, leaving behind an unforgettable legacy in fashion, especially at Chanel. He was known to be hands-on with everything, often shooting his fashion campaigns and catalog that accompany every collection. Lagerfeld not only reinvented Chanel, but the role of creative director of legacy fashion houses as well. His success at Chanel influenced other fashion houses to do the same, including Gucci with Tom Ford, Louis Vuitton with Marc Jacobs, and Dior with John Galliano. He became an iconic figure in fashion throughout the process, with his larger-than-life persona that had a signature look of his favorite dark sunglasses, black suit, and fingerless gloves. With an undeniable impact in the fashion world, and with a passion for meticulous detail and grand craftsmanship, Lagerfeld is remembered as an innovator and a creative genius. Well, that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and comment, subscribe for more fashion related videos, and remember to keep living that fashion life. I hope you have a great day. Bye.